Hey, how's it going? Tonight, talking about the Volca Keys. I did a tutorial on this guy a while ago, and from that tutorial, a couple questions came through. One, somebody wanted to know if you could make good bass sounds on this thing, and two, somebody was mentioning, when they dial in patches on this thing, they're all very impactful, screechy in your face. Can you make good kind of toned down sounds on this thing that aren't so right up in your face, so to speak? Anyway, let's start with making the bass sound. So when I make bass on this guy, I usually like to set it to polyring, which I believe will give you a square wave on the oscillator, and then I'll set the pitch to 16. And right now I think I'll have everything dialed down to 0 on the Volca Keys, and the delay is off, so you can hear I get a little bit of feedback when I touch the keyboard, but not much. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give us a little bit of cutoff, which will give us on the filter, which should give us a bit of a sound. So yeah, nothing amazing, but you can see it's, if I dial it up, kind of get like a toy piano, not a wooden block thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's give it a little bit of a sustain. Give it a bit of an attack. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see. We'll add a little bit of a decay and release to it. Yeah, sounds all right. Not the best keyboardist in the world, but let's see. So there, it's nothing amazing so far, but let's go ahead and see if you can play around with it with the LFO a little bit. Oh, it's got a little bit more life to it. Alright, and then if you want to, we can play around with the filter a bit more, see if we can. So you can play around the peak. Maybe we'll play around with that in a sec. Let's see what the envelope on the filter does. So these are, you can use it to craft the sound, but also what you can do. If you have anything recorded in the sequence, let's just record something simple. See if we can get rid of that little blip in there. It's a little bit annoying when it writes over itself. I just got no timing. Anyway, you get the idea. So I think I don't have a Volca bass. I would, if you're looking specifically for a bass, keyboard, I would lean more towards the Model D, the Boog, so to speak. you can put a little video together about it there if you want to know more about it. But I think that would be better for bass sounds more than the Volca Keys or a Volca bass. But if you really like the sounds of the Volca Keys, and also, hey, you know, can I make bass sounds on it? Yes, it is possible. It's a pretty flexible analog synthesizer. It's cheap as chips, so if you don't like it, you can probably sell it and make most of your money back. So it's hard not to recommend the Volca Keys for just it's what I cut my teeth on to begin with, learning these guys, and it's, you know, I'm keeping it around, still using it. Okay, what else were we going to talk about? We were going to see if we can put together, you know, maybe a lead sound that isn't so in your face. So let's go ahead, let's dial everything back to 0. Goodbye bass sound. And there we go, nothing. Sounds like a wet fart. Alright. We'll switch it to poly, so that's going to give us some flexibility, and we might shift it from there. And we'll bump up the pitch to, what is it? I gotta stand up. I forget it's 4 there. Cool. Alright. So what do we got? That's my printer going off in the background for some reason. That's always handy when you're in the middle of shooting something. All right, let's start to dial in, you know, a sound. Okay, so usually the first thing I'll do is I'll add some cutoff to the filter, which will let. And then, you know, let's go for something that we can hold down here. So the first thing, if you don't want to make a harsh sound, is this filter cutoff seems to give most of the oomph to the sound. And in fact, if you really don't want to make a harsh sound, you might want to leave that down and use some of these guys. So we can even turn off that. And I can use the cutoff on the LFO to start giving us something to work with. Yeah. I think the rate's going to do a weird kind of. Alright. So we're just going to run on the cutoff for our main kind of driver on the sound. And let's see what we can add to it. If we add any cutoff. Yeah, see, the cutoff really starts making it in your face. I like to give it just a little bit. Alright. Let's shift up our oscillators to a unison. I like the unison. I like the 4. Just a little too grindy for me. This is where I wish I was using the digitone, because I could dial in that rate of the LFO perfectly. Put a link there, you can see how you can use the VCC controls on the digitone to dial those in. Because if I can get it dialed in. I don't want that kind of beep, 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 and I don't want the horrible grind. I want just that one sweet spot between where the rate of the LFO wave is just gives you that perfect harmony. It might not even be possible. At least if I had the digitone, which I could plug in, but it'd be easier. Let's try something completely different. Don't think I'm gonna dial that in just how I want it, but you can see how you can do some weird experimental sounds on here. Let's try something different. I usually like using the I believe it's the fifth on the oscillator, which I think has two oscillators aligned and then one up. Let's dial everything back so we should get the wet fart noises again. There we go. All right. So let's do something to no cutoff. And well, maybe we'll do a little bit of filter. Maybe we'll do something about using the LFO. change it to some of these other oscillator settings. That's one thing, is if you lay down something on the sequencer, it won't pick up the pitch change on the dial, which is handy, but also if you want to play around. It also won't pick up the oscillator change apparently either, so maybe it will. Oh, it does. Sorry. I was losing my mind there for a second. Just not much different. Alright, it's enough frog rap. Yeah, so hey, that's what I got for you tonight. So yeah, like I said, you can make a lot of different sounds on here, but you just got to experiment. I find like what I did there is just, record something really simple down on the sequencer and let it fly and play around with the dials, and you can just have fun that way. There's a lot of ways to have fun with this silly little thing. Anyways, that's what I got for you tonight. Hopefully there's some value there. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time.